Welcome back to Orange Hat Reviews, everyone. Hope you're all having a wonderful day. So, the Kenobi finale. We have made it. We're still alive, and we're still fucking here. And, goddamn. As I said before, with every episode, there is a lore break, and with every lore break, there is just other problems to go with it. This episode ain't no exception. I'm telling you that now. It's like, holy crap. But yeah, honestly, this episode had some good parts about it and bad parts about it. We're going to get into those good parts about it and those bad parts about it. And then next week, myself, I'm going to do a stream based on the problems with the show as a whole, as the series, all 6 episodes. I'm up to 85 freaking problems, folks. 85. How you doing, Jedi Padawan Trailer? Always a pleasure. And afternoon, Jacob Ironside. Good to see you. I had earlier, folks, my 6-hour stream where I had this sucker on all day. And it's like, I am not wearing that sucker for another minute. But yeah, also, I never did that giveaway that I said I was going to do. Oops! But, yeah, I'll figure it out. So, Kenobi. What'd you think of it? Or what'd you think of this finale, Kate?
Visually, I don't want to start off all negative, right? Because I know that we'll get into it. But visually, it was stunning. And the score was really good. But the plot and all of the stuff, there's just so much bad because it just undermines Star Wars. This whole show has done nothing but undermine Star Wars. And it has been a colossal FU to the fans, to canon. And this finale isn't an exception. And then, Reva's storyline was as predictable as ever. Yeah, I mean, we can get into it, but it wasn't, I'm going to say 2 thumbs down.
Yeah. And I'm also in that boat. This had some good parts in it. Even objectively, it had a couple good things in it. Now, was this rematch of the century an interesting fight between 2 characters that that we all love? Sure. But it is a major offense against canon.
Yeah.
I can acknowledge that it's a good fight, but it doesn't work.
Right.
Now, believe me, folks, I'm not defending Disney. If I was in charge of Star Wars, everybody involved in this show, production-wise, would be fired. Because I would tell them flat out, I would pull a fucking Darth Vader from this film or from this series. If you fail me, if this show sucks, and if it violates the freaking lore, I'm not going to kill you, but I will fire you. And I would also have fired Pablo Hidalgo. I would have said anybody who has defended this shit in Disney, you'd be fired. Pablo Hidalgo, Kathleen Kennedy, Deborah Chow, the writers, whoever the fuck they are. Now, the actors, folks, I have nothing against the actors. The girl who played Leia, I wish her well. She actually did a good job acting. Hayden did a good job acting. Douchebag, what's his name? Ewan did a good job acting.
Yeah.
However, there are problems in this fucking show. And hello, Sentinel, OG Star Wars, good to see you.
I always say that you can prop up bad acting with good writing. And you can tear down good acting with bad writing.
Exactly.
And that's what I feel like is what's happened with this show.
Yep. And So without further ado, let's basically get into it. So we start the episode already with a problem. They ended the last episode saying that they're right on our tail. So they show this episode where they're right on their tail, but why weren't they shooting at him in the last episode?
Yeah.
Not to mention, what do most Star Destroyers have that we all know about from the original trilogy? They have a TIE fighter wing,
Yeah.
and they have a tractor beam.
Yep.
Where were those in the show?
Yeah.
We are, and Kenobi has to argue with all of them. It's like, it's me he's after. It's me he wants. Well, okay, well, fine, get the fuck out. And he gets the fuck, and he boxed the fuck out. And we'll probably get an O'Shea Jackson spinoff, a Roken spinoff. I'm just getting started with that line. It's like, that's great, fucking spinoff with there. But no, we're actually going to get a fucking Reva spinoff because nobody fucking likes her. If I were in charge of Star Wars, I would require the writers to read the source material and accompanying. Yes, believe me, I would too.
Yeah.
Now, there's a lot of attempts to connect this show with the OT. Like Sentinel says, you didn't kill Anakin Skywalker, I did, which is a line from Vader, which I will talk about later in the thing. That is an attempt to justify Kenobi's reasoning with Luke in A New Hope, where he says he betrayed and murdered your father. That's all that is. That is an attempt for that line to have some sort of bigger importance. Now, so Vader is just eyes on Kenobi. He wants Kenobi. He's willing to, he's like, increase firepower. Then he finally gets it. And the Grand Inquisitor, who, remember, is somehow back from the dead because nobody's really gone after they get stabbed and are unmoving and unbreathing like 4 episodes ago. Well, he's back, and he's like, we should get rid of this menace, this nuisance, this network while we still have a chance. Kenobi is all that matters. We can't get waylaid by one jet or one insignificant or one Jedi. This is no ordinary Jedi. Well, that is true. Obi-Wan is not. Obi-Wan Kenobi, even the Emperor from. Hold on, I have the book with me. Oh, this book, Rise of Darth Vader, Dark Lord, from James Luceno. This book explains why Obi-Wan and Yoda are the sole exceptions to Order 66. If they are found, they are to be killed immediately. They are to be chased across the fucking galaxy if any hint of them comes up. Because they know the truth and they could possibly even exploit the truth. And they could also ferment further rebellion. Now, so when they get into it, right into this rematch, and for some reason, because Leia or Obi-Wan said, I wish I could use her for a moment to be brave and whatnot, or not be afraid. Well, Leia gives Obi-Wan Lola for one reason only, so that I almost half expected Leia to frickin' stow away on this damn ship. Honestly, I thought that was going to happen.
Yeah, like me too for half a second. I'm like, oh no, they're going to make something weird where, Darth Vader sees her but doesn't know who she is. And I was like, oh no. So I'm glad that they didn't do that.
Exactly. Is it just me, or did Vader act like Kylo Ren for a majority of this episode?
I was about to say the same thing. Yeah, they wrote Darth Vader like Kylo Ren, like a whiny little bitch.
Yeah, he was acting out and whatnot, except he was, or the way that they said, or the way that Deborah says, or Deborah Chow says, he's not the Vader that we know from episode 3 or episode 4. He's in between. And it's like, understandable. And yes, his rage is making him act out. Sure. And there's the, so they both get down to the planet and he's like, are you here to destroy me, Obi-Wan? And he's like, I will do what I must. Call out to episode 3. Woo! And I'm like, oh, he did the pose! He did the pose! The pose! No, but still, folks, they let the rebel cell get away. Like I said, where's the TIE fighter wing contingent? Where's the tractor beam? They literally send a Star Destroyer to chase after Kenobi's little ship.
Right.
Yeah. Major problems there, folks.
Oh, for sure.
So, in the beginning of the episode, we see that Reva has somehow arrived on Tatooine like after 5 fucking minutes.
Right, after she was just bleeding on the ground because she was
bleeding on the ground on Jabim. 5 minutes later, she's
on Tatooine.
She's on fucking Tatooine. What ship did she use? How the fuck is she still alive? Did they have back-to patches? What's going on? How is she still alive?
She's still alive because plot reasons and because she's black. They gotta keep her alive.
You're not her. That's the fucking truth, folks. They did this because they wanted a person of color. I'm not fucking afraid to say it. Now, does that make me racist? No. What would make me racist is saying she sucks as an actress because she's black. That would be racist. She doesn't suck as an actress.
Well. No, she played the part well. The part was just bad.
Yeah, the part was just bad.
I would have liked her if this show were just in a bubble on its own. It would have been an enjoyable show.
Yes, it would have if it was on its own. Unfortunately, it's supposed to connect in between episode 3 and episode 4.
Right.
And that is why it sucks. And yes, thank you, Soul Assassin. Hit the like button and subscribe, folks. It does help out the channel. Also, check out afterward my 6-hour stream. You don't have to watch the whole thing, but you might get some laughs if you do. You also might get shocked if you do, too, because I do say some stuff in there that might shock the shit out of you. But yeah. Smash that like button. Now, when it comes to the show, getting back to the show, we get to the talking points. The fight ensues. And, oh, shoot, there is one thing I did want to talk about. Owen and Beru and Luke. Owen wants to hide because Reva's on the planet, and this water vendor tells Owen that she's looking for him. Why didn't she track him? Why didn't she just follow that guy? Because most likely he would go right to frickin' Owen and tell him like he did, like an idiot.
That would make too much sense.
Exactly. Now, also, when they finally get to the homestead, Luke is going to hide. Beru takes charge. Beru is the one that wears the pants in this fucking household. Let me make no mistake, folks. Beru is the man of this house, of this home, or of this moisture farm. It's like, we knew this day would come. Tosses him a gun. Short-barreled blasters that are usually used to divert Tuskens away from the moisture farm. What's wrong with that? You would have long-range blasters. You would have long barrel with a scope like they have on these things. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, this is just so fucking wrong. And she's making, hold on. Basically, to give you an idea, this is the size of the blasters. This is the size of the blasters. Literally, this size. And they're going like this. These ones have a scope on top, and it's like, this is what they're using to protect their fucking moisture farm. And I'm thinking to myself, how are you able to snipe Tusken Raiders with that shit?
You can't.
Because
it's obvious
with
that
a short barrel, you have less accuracy.
Oh, for sure.
At distance.
Those are definitely short-range guns. Like,
yeah,
hey, somebody came, really close, like shotguns, Yeah. But yeah, if you live on a moisture farm and you're surrounded by the Dune Sea on one side, and on the other side you've got the mountain.
Canyon.
Right. So where did you think that, short barrel was going to be a good idea?
I mean, don't get me wrong. If the person got into the household like Reva does, short barrels would come.
But if you're trying
Short
to
barrels make sense.
if you're
But
trying
these,
to protect your place that's kind of in the middle of nowhere, and you want to see, what's around you, sniper rifles. Come on.
exactly. So yeah, and she's like, okay, she's gonna come here when the suns go down. How do you know that? Because it makes sense. Why? Because she's
sensitive.
I mean, what the fuck?
Yeah.
How you doing, Aaron?
Hey, what's up? I'm doing all right.
And so yeah, we get to that, and then this is bullshit. Suddenly, Beru's a tactical genius. Not to mention how our Obi-Wan gives Leia Tala's holster.
Yeah, that was screwed up. I'm sorry. I was like, who gives a little 10-year-old girl a freaking
No,
gun
that's
holster?
not the part that's screwed up. The fact that holster even exists after the last episode is what's screwed up. Because she blew herself up with a Class A thermal detonator.
Yeah, and who went back to retrieve it?
Yeah, okay, so that's who that came from.
Yeah. It's like, I'm sorry, but if you are standing at the point of a Class A thermal detonator with an explosive range of 60 meters, you are atomized.
Oh, yeah.
How did it survive?
It didn't survive.
Unscathed. Unblemished. It survived.
It would have disintegrated.
It would have been atomized. It would have been completely atomized.
Yeah.
There would have been absolutely nothing left. Because there was absolutely nothing left of Tala. Because she blew a freaking thermal detonator inside of one unpressurized cabin area, or a pressurized area, that blew it out the other way. Even fucking Reva shouldn't have been alive after that.
No.
But you know what? Plot armor. So yeah. So now to the let's get into the arrival of Vader down on the planet and getting into the rematch of the century. Folks, this fight is good. Somewhat. But it doesn't make sense. I can acknowledge that it is good. Visually. I can acknowledge that it's an interesting fight. However, it doesn't make sense. And thank God, I will say this, thank the Force that you didn't have Obi-Wan say, you still have much to learn, Vader. To give him that, oh, the last time I met you, I was the learner, but now I am the master.
Yeah, I'm thankful.
No, you still don't even get that moment.
Yeah, I'm still thankful that they didn't kill each other. I was really hoping that they weren't going to kill each other, because, they can't die. Not now. They don't.
Yeah, I know.
Obi-Wan doesn't die till, 20 years later, and Vader,
10.
of course, doesn't. Okay, 10.
9.
Okay. Yeah. Something like that. I can't remember much about canon, but it's been a while since I've delved into it. But, and then Vader doesn't die till 20 years later. 20, 30 years later.
No, he dies 14 years or 15 years later.
Okay.
Because he died, or I have the books right here, goddammit.
Yeah, it's I don't remember how much time was between A New Hope and Return of the Jedi.
4 years later, or 4 years after the Battle of Yavin is Return of the Jedi. So 13 years later.
13.
After this.
Okay.
15. No, 9 plus 5 equals 4. 15 years later. Yeah, 15 years.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a good fight, full of hate. You got Vader cutting loose and whatnot, and you got Obi-Wan doing the with the Form 3 pose. No offense, but that was one thing in the sequel or in the prequels that I was like, this is odd, but okay, whatever. Now, them cutting between this and Luke is obvious because Reva's going for Luke. However, It doesn't make sense because we already know there's no real danger to Luke because Luke lives. He's
Yeah.
alive, unharmed, and whatnot in A New Hope. As if there's no freaking um, trauma on him at all from this event. And he has brown hair.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Where's the blonde?
Yeah. He's blonde, people, not brunette. This is
And
brown.
so he tries reaching out, or in this fight. All right, let me. There we go. And let's see here. Try and get an Inquisitor. No, they trying to hide. Yeah, they tried to hide Luke in the back of the Homestead farm.
Mm-hmm.
And we get the rematch of the century. And it's intercut with Reva being attacked by Owen and Beru.
What's weird is not a lot of stuff happened this episode.
No.
You know what I mean?
There isn't because they wanted the main focus on the rematch. Now, when Owen is like the last line of defense between Beru and Luke and Reva, he literally goes like this to shove into her wound. How does he know she has, or how does she know, or he know where that wound is?
Yeah, she was wearing all black. I couldn't even see it.
Yeah, same here.
Mm-hmm. It's you've been stabbed by a lightsaber. You are obviously dying. You shouldn't have even survived that trek out into the moisture farm.
She shouldn't have lived. She should have died.
She should have. And her even being on Tatooine should have killed her.
Yeah. I mean,
should have died before she even arrived.
Stabbed to the stomach with a freaking lightsaber. He died instantly.
Mm-hmm.
Also, it goes against, like, Darth Vader isn't going to kill somebody and not finish the job.
Exactly. We discussed that last time too.
Vader will kill. He doesn't.
He
doesn't leave anyone alive.
Right, and the fact that twice now he left her alive.
Yeah, they've screwed him up.
Yeah,
Vader kills and he kills. I mean, when he kills somebody, he makes sure they're dead. I mean, come on.
I like what Trayla says here. And what's her plan when they go back? It's like, hey, I killed your kid. Do I get a treat?
Yeah. What was and the whole thing I was like, why is she going to Tatooine?
Well,
and
why is she doing? He asks her, why are you doing this? Justice. Okay, what the fuck are you, Batwoman?
Yeah, exactly.
Right, and you think it's justice to kill someone else's kid because he killed a bunch of kids, 10 years ago? Like, what?
Yeah.
The problem is with this, I got a what is that movie called? The Last Jedi vibe off of that when Luke tries to kill Ben. I got vibes from that, from her trying to kill Luke. I got literal vibes of.
Well, yeah, because they kind of mirror it.
Yeah, I'm like, she has no motive. Why is she trying to kill Luke? She has no plan. She just
that's been her entire character is zero motive.
She's poorly
zero motive, bad character development. There's shit writing.
Arc. Yeah.
And it's like,
folks, I have nothing against Moses Ingram. I do want to clarify that. Nothing against Moses Ingram. Yeah. She did a good job with what she had. Right. Unfortunately, she also didn't know shit about Star Wars when she did this.
Yeah.
I have nothing against Moses Ingram. I want to make that clear.
Neither of us do.
The writers, the director, all made her shit. She's a victim, essentially.
Pretty much.
Because she's more of a victim from their own stupidity than she is of Anakin Skywalker's feeble attempt to kill her during Operation Nightfall.
Yeah.
Not to mention, we still don't know how she learned that he is Lord Vader, because we didn't hear any clones say, Lord Vader, should we move on or whatever? We didn't hear any we didn't hear any establishment that Lord Vader, or she put two and two together. We don't get any of that.
And if she knows that Luke is Vader's kid or Anakin's kid, how does she not know that Leia was his kid? And Leia
Well, that's the thing.
would have been easier to get to.
That's why she kidnapped her in the first place. Everybody's
Right.
saying they're talking, or she was talking about Bail Organa when she said to those pirates, he fought along her side, her father in the war. Kenobi never fought beside Bail Organa in the Clone War. Who did he fight alongside? Anakin Skywalker. So when people are saying, well, they're talking about Bail because years ago you served my father in the Clone Wars. When? Bail Organa didn't even raise a blaster in the fucking Clone Wars show.
Yeah. No, he was just doing politics.
He was doing politics. He did also provide aid to Christosis.
I mean, he did during the Clone Wars show. He had a good friendship.
But that was about it.
Yeah, he was a politician. He was a senator, and that's all he could do. He wasn't a fighter. He was like BFFs with Padme, working.
I mean, even Filoni screwed that up because he's like, you had the perfect opportunity because you're doing this Clone Wars show, you had the perfect opportunity to have Kenobi have to help Senator Organa somehow. But you couldn't even get that right because you're a fucking moron, Filoni.
Yeah,
but getting back to the show, we're going to go over the Luke stuff first, and then we're going to get into the rematch. And she finally catches up to him after Leia gives her a smack, just basically a bitch slap. It's like, I'm sorry, but if you have a blaster about this big, crack. That's what I would have done.
Same.
She comes through that door, bam, to the side of the head as hard as you can. She's gonna go down. She's injured already because somehow Owen has the Force and magically knows, oh, she's injured. Hiya! Folks, there's just so much wrong with this. And none of it is Moses Ingram's fault.
No.
Again, none of this is Moses Ingram's fault. No, she came into the show ignorant as fuck. But she did her job, which was to follow the direction of Deborah Chow, who did a bad job at this. Not to mention the cinematography is just god-awful with a shaky cam all the fucking time.
Yeah, and the score was awful, too. I didn't like the score. It's like...
It's forgettable. The only thing I can't even remember the score.
The score was the only thing I liked.
I didn't like it.
I mean, they did drop the Imperial March a little bit after Vader lost.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
But where is Leia's theme? Where's Leia's theme? They also have the Jedi theme, too. I did hear it a little bit
at the end, but that's about it. It's like, why didn't they play any of John Williams', great pieces?
But he scored this, didn't he?
He consulted score. He didn't score it. He consulted.
Okay. Because they took, there's like moments at the end where they have Luke's or the Jedi,
Yeah. They did have those beats.
They did have those in there, or the Imperial March that they had in there when Vader talks to the Emperor.
Yeah. Now, folks, also, I do want to state this. I want Star Wars to be good again.
Yes.
Same here.
I know I am going off on this show. I know I'm a passionate fan. I'm not a toxic fan. I'm a passionate fan. I care about this shit, and I want it to be good. How you doing, Comic Chat? Good to see you. But if you are going to just say fuck the lore and then make this thing to where it completely destroys it,
I would have preferred that Lucas.
I mean, hey, if Comic Chat, if you like this episode, I'm not going to take that away from you. If you like it, that's awesome. The fight was fantastic. I will freaking admit it, like I said, but it does break the canon. It breaks the lore. There is no reason why these two should have met between episode 3 and episode 4. In fact, that was Lucas's own freaking plan. It was acknowledged also by official Star Wars canon on their website.
Yeah.
So, there is problems with it. Now, she also has Luke dead to rights. She uses the Force to knock him down and knock him out. How did this break canon? One, well, you know what, or Danny, I will tell you this right now. I will go over all of it next week on my channel because I literally have a list of how it all breaks it or how it all is screwed up. The way they did it didn't break canon to me. It made it much better. And that is your opinion, and different opinions are welcome on the channel. It's why I have that banner that says that different opinions, oops, different opinions are welcome. And if you liked it, that is fine. That is awesome. For me, I don't see how it's an improvement. I honestly don't. I'm sorry. But to get back to it, it's getting back to she has her lightsaber up. She wants to kill him, but she keeps on seeing herself. So we'll stop there and we'll go to the rematch. The rematch looks great, except for a really chaotic, shaky camera. It's like the person is literally going like this when they're trying to shoot the damn thing, and I'm like, somebody check the cameraman. They must be having a seizure.
Yeah.
It was confirmed that with the Leia part of it, but the way they did it was fine to me. The thing is, everybody, or like I said, I will discuss that when I go over all the issues because I will be going in depth in a stream to do it. There's 85 plus issues with this show. But going back to the fight between Vader, there's even problems with that fight when he does the Hulk smash on the ground, claps in the ground beneath him, and I'm like, okay, so what is he gonna do? He buries him, and then he walks away, and he even calls him master, and it's like, why are you leaving this to chance? You hate Obi-Wan. You want him dead completely. You would have still felt him if he was alive. I mean, folks, established in episode 4, I sensed something, a presence I haven't not felt since, and that was merely from the proximity.
Yeah.
He was
Vader
much closer. He was basically the same amount of distance between himself and Kenobi when he buried him under the rocks.
Yep. Yeah.
He wouldn't leave that chance because there's always the chance that Obi-Wan would get out, which he does. And that's okay, Netcat. To see the actual story was good. A lot of people don't read the books. I read the books. I think they are targeting the casual fan more so than the fanatic. I mean, that is indeed what they're doing. And by doing so, they are screwing up the story even more.
Yeah.
And not just the casual fan, I think they're also trying to get in people who wouldn't necessarily have watched Star Wars before.
Exactly. Not to mention Go ahead.
If I had never seen any of the Star Wars movies and then I just randomly watched that show, I would have enjoyed that show and been a huge fan. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So that's the kind of people that they're trying to get. I think they're not trying to appeal to.
Well, not only that, they are also aiming at the blind consumer.
Right. Exactly.
And I have often said this, folks, and this is not meant to a dig towards anybody in the chat, but people who like Star Wars for just because it's Star Wars, I am sorry. I have a hard time believing that you are a fan. If you like Star Wars because it's Star Wars, that tells me that you are a blind enough consumer that you would buy a jar of piss if it had the Star Wars logo on it.
Exactly.
I'm sorry. I'm not insulting anybody here. I am simply giving my opinion. I mean, I've even asked a person if somebody took a piss in a jar because and I use this so much because somebody actually was dumb enough to say yes. And I said, if I pissed in a jar, called it Bantha Piss, slapped the Star Wars logo, would you buy it? Most likely, yeah. I'm like, and I never talked to that person again because they have proven to be that stupid. So yes, he is walking away, and Vader or Obi-Wan realizes the reason why he needs to come out, the twins are his motivation. He busts out, and this is where it gets even better. He actually headbutts or cracks him with the butt of his hilt and goes after his mechanics. This is the smartest thing I've ever seen any person go after Vader, which is also covered in this because Roan Shrine, who is in this, also goes after Vader's mechanics. He goes after the suit because he knows that the suit is keeping him alive.
Exactly. You destroy
Now,
the suit. Yeah.
yeah. And then we get the final slash across the face, which opens up the left side of the mask.
Been done
And we get,
before, boo.
huh?
It's like it's been done before, boo.
Yeah,
Well, yeah,
that's
they
bad.
had the Ahsoka thing, but this is actually a decent. Like I said, in isolation, this works. In isolation, it works.
Oh,
And this is
it's definitely a poignant and should be heartfelt scene. But I've
yes,
already experienced that scene before, and now it's a cheap copycat.
it is
For me.
indeed because it's going to happen to him again when he runs across Ahsoka because this takes place before Rebels.
Correct. Right. So
Now,
they're not only undermining that we've seen it, they're like, well, this actually happened first. And it's like, no, we've seen it
yeah,
before in Rebels.
but correct media, you're absolutely right. They ripped themselves off
Yeah,
several
right.
times,
Yeah, they did.
Is it plagiarism if you just copy your own shit?
right? Now, him saying, him saying that you didn't kill Anakin Skywalker, I did. That again,
That's a good line.
Gary Banjo Sandwich Worthington, good to see you, and thank you for the congrats. Now, that is an attempt to connect it to Episode 4, where now Obi-Wan has all the justification. He's like, he betrayed and murdered your father. That's where they're trying to make it so that's where that line comes from.
I was okay with it. I liked that line. But
Yeah, it is because in fact that is how Vader believes. He did kill Anakin.
Yes,
He
he
shut
did.
Anakin down completely. He buried him. However, that's also contradictory because he also called him master, acknowledging that he is Anakin. He called Obi-Wan master before he walked away in dismissal.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like,
yeah, that was
if
confusing.
you would have
like,
left that out, or if you would have just said Kenobi or Obi-Wan instead of master,
Yeah.
you would have had that dismissive tone that would have been an improvement.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to him being very pissed off with the Emperor and he's bitching about the Emperor, he's like, we will fucking destroy everything on our path to find him. You seem agitated, my friend. I mean, it's good to see him in McDermott, and he's actually looking a lot like the Emperor of Return of the Jedi. That is great stuff there.
Yeah. Yeah,
It was good to
It's
see
cool.
Ian back as the Emperor.
Yes.
But he also tells him, I wonder if your feelings on this matter are clear. Obi-Wan means nothing to me. Dude, you were just bitching about wanting to fucking scorch earth
Kill him,
Obliterate,
yeah.
to find him. And now all of a sudden, he means nothing to me. Kylo Ren?
Yeah.
Is that you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you're bipolar, dude. You're kind of acting like your grandson. Oh, no, my God. Speaking of Kylo Ren, how you doing, Tim's Talk? Oh, my God, dude. I love that. I freaking mentioned Kylo Ren, and immediately Adam Driver's freaking body double and stunt double comes in here. How you doing, buddy? Dude, Tim's Talk is awesome. And yes, he is a sequel fan. He is a Reylo. And you know what? I still like him as a friend, dude. He's still an awesome guy. I still enjoy his shit. And yet,
He's good.
he's a Disney Star Wars lover. I'm not. But we still get along, don't we? Don't we? Yes, we do. And it's just when the Emperor, he's like, I'm gonna destroy everything on my path until we find him. You seem agitated, my friend. I wonder. He's like, perhaps your feelings for your old master have left you weakened. Obi-Wan means nothing to me. Folks, pissed off Vader. Suddenly calm Vader. What the fuck? My neck just snapped. It's just the Owen Uncle Owen can roast others, but can't keep himself from being roasted. Yeah, even Baru fucking cucks, or even Baru cucked uh, Owen.
Yeah.
She became the head of household
Yeah.
and voted his ass out in Big Brother. Anyway, Obi-Wan is responsible for all the deaths that Vader commented because he didn't kill Vader in this episode, so Obi-Wan is the real bad guy. You could think of it indeed that way, yeah.
That's so
I mean,
funny.
he had Vader. I mean, he even says, "Goodbye, Darth,"
Yeah.
Yeah.
because he said, "Then my friend is truly dead," which is a call out to Episode 6, where Luke is like, "Then my father is truly dead."
Yeah.
And a lot of people are like, "Well, Obi-Wan once thought as you do."
We
Obi-Wan
don't
was an
know
optimist
how
during the
the
Clone
dark
Wars,
side.
as is Luke. Everybody's saying, "Well, somehow this show now has Obi-Wan being the optimist," and yada yada. It's like there is no connection between this show and that statement. When he says that Obi-Wan once thought as you do, it is literally talking about the Clone Wars when Obi-Wan was a grand optimist.
Always.
He
Always.
was always an optimist.
Yeah.
And he sees that quality in Luke during that part of the movie, where he's like, "Come with me, man." Ever the optimist. Obi-Wan once thought as you do, man. Now, don't tell Owen that Ben caused Luke to be attacked. Yeah, right? Not only that, like I said, how is she still alive? So then, anyway, he leaves him there, and he flies away from the planet where there's no Imperial Star Destroyer waiting for Vader.
There should have been.
Where is the ship that Vader had just exited from with his shuttle?
Yeah.
Why didn't he give orders that if I don't make it back, blow, or if it's not my shuttle coming off that planet, destroy it? This is called smart tactics. This is something that Vader would do. He's not stupid. If I don't make it off the planet, kill whatever comes off. But the ship isn't even there. And then he takes a light speed skip that takes 2 seconds when usually light speed can take anywhere from 15 minutes to an hour to 2 hours to 3 hours to 4 hours to even longer than that. He just suddenly gets to Tatooine. They're still looking for him. And she's carrying Luke back. He's unmoving until he finally moves.
Yeah.
We already know he's alive.
Right. But again, going back to, let's say, Bubble, you've never watched any other Star Wars, and you're watching this.
And that's what it is.
It's supposed to be right. It's supposed to be oh no, is he dead? And the fact that Baru and Owen just stand there and don't run to her and go, you know what I mean? Like, it was like, are you guys robots? Like,
I know, right?
it's like even they know, they're like, oh, he's not dead. He's like, he's gonna be here. He's got to blow up the Death Star in 9-10 years.
Oh, not only that, the slice across Vader's back would have killed Vader. His suit is not lightsaber proof, folks.
Right. And his breathing mechanism got shot.
Yeah, so they did that right because they did the raggedy breathing and he was constantly getting weaker. Right. So they did that. Right. But I'm sorry.
I like the transition that they did between the voices of you could hear Hayden Christensen, and then there were parts where it would drop and you could hear you know what I mean? So
James Earl, yes.
James
Earl actually did. That was a good thing too.
That was a good cut. That was really good sound engineering on that one.
Yep. Now, Moses Ingram, Reva, this is her best acting in the entire series, folks. For sure. Because her acting is more genuine in this moment where she is crying to Obi-Wan that she failed those that she swore to avenge. Mm-hmm. And that she's like, am I becoming like him? She is tired. You could see real tears, unlike a certain Aquaman or unlike a certain crazy chick. But it's like, at least she can cry on cue. Jeez, man, what's so hard about crying on cue,
And this scene really did highlight her acting abilities. scenes.
Yes, this scene was her. This was award-worthy acting, to be completely honest.
Honestly,
She
I would
sold
like
it
to
there.
see her in other stuff.
I
Like,
would
as an
like to see
actress,
Moses. I would like to see Moses Ingram in other stuff as well.
I would like to see her in other things. It would be. I think she's a good actress. So
Yes.
that's why the commentary on, oh, you just don't like her because she's racist. No, she's pretty. She did a good job. She did what she was given at first script wise. But
It's just that
and then she did shine in this scene where she was crying and like just having that internal struggle. It was good. It was a good scene.
now, one thing I will say that I'm glad the leaks didn't do this, or the leaks said this is what would happen, but it didn't happen. That she goes back to Vader and says, "I killed Obi-Wan," and then she gets wasted. So that thank God that leak is not true, because it would have just made all of it worse.
Yeah.
I mean, first off, he just tried killing her in the episode before last. Because when that episode happened, when he stabs her, I'm like, well, I'm guessing that leak is no longer valid. Well, her going back to say that I killed Obi-Wan, that part at least, but her trying to kill Luke is just. I'm still wondering if that is even Luke because of the brown hair. But anyway.
No, but yeah, like, play it through. Let's say she had killed Luke. And then she went and killed Leia. Let's just say that she did that. And then she goes back to Vader and says, I found your kids and killed them. She would have died so quick. And Vader would have.
Well, not only that.
Vader didn't know that he had children at this point.
Yeah, because
or that they survived.
He had no idea that he survived, because on the Imperial record, on the Imperial historical record, Padme Amidala died pregnant.
Right. Yeah. Yes. And the children died with
episode
her.
3. Yeah. Make her look pregnant.
Right. That's why when she's on her funeral on Naboo, she's still
her stomach is still.
Yeah, it's huge. Yeah.
Yeah. Jace Fox, good to see you, and Fuch Norris, good to see you. So then, her fate is uncertain until we get to the Rematch show.
Yeah.
So then, that is when Vader starts riffing it at Palpatine, and I'm thinking to myself, thank God that part is over. Now, instead of staying on Tatooine to watch over Luke, what does Kenobi do? He goes to Alderaan. Just to say to Leia, well, first to give her back her droid, because she gave him his droid to borrow, or her droid to borrow, Lola. And she's smiling, and then Lola comes out. She runs past Kenobi. It's like, yeah, fuck you. My droid's back. It was good acting up to that point, kid. But now, I get that you're excited to see Lola again. I mean, you are a kid, and she's like, who am I to deny a little girl her droid? Considering how dispassionate Obi-Wan Kenobi has been toward droids, this is known throughout canon. He was very dispassionate about droids.
Yeah, I didn't like him.
It's not that he didn't like him, he just didn't accept them as living beings, you know? If droids could think, there would be none of us around now, would there? Flying us for droids.
A whole war on
against droids, yeah.
So, I mean, he's got a little bit of PTSD maybe from war and droids and stuff.
Yeah. Now, they're setting up this thing. It's like, if you ever need me, just call me and I will be there. So that's setting up the whole going after him in episode 4. And he tells Leia about her parents. You are wise, discerning, and kind-hearted. You get that from your mother. And yet you are passionate, fearless, and forthright. And that is a gift from your father. And she accepts that. And it's like, this isn't a good thing. No. Bale could have told her this.
Yeah. Also, too many people know now, and it's it's supposed to be this huge secret for the better part of 20 years.
Exactly. And he's like, we can't let anybody know, or if will I ever see you again? Nice callback to episode 1 where her father says the same thing to his mother, and it's like, maybe, princess, but we can't, or it would endanger us both if we do. But if we do, we can't tell anybody. We have to keep it secret.
Yeah.
Folks, you can't mind wipe her because she's immune to mental suggestion. This is why Leia's involvement should never have been there.
Yeah.
All of this doesn't make sense. So then he goes back and he's packing up his cave because, well, I'm guessing he found the homestead now. Who knows? And he talks with Owen and he's like, "You're right. Luke just needs you and Beru to look after him. A lightsaber wielding maniac just entered your home and nearly killed both of you to get to this child, or to that child, and you're saying that those two are perfectly qualified to look after this boy?" Somebody called Galactic CPS.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because, I'm sorry, you two are, or he just needs you two. Motherfucker, you better be watching over that kid over the next 9 years because chances are he won't be able to pick his nose in Anchorhead without some bounty hunter getting on his ass. After
there's been too much movement on Tatooine. There's too much.
Exactly. There was too much movement. There was an Inquisitor looking for Owen Lars. This is on Imperial record.
Yeah.
Even though she's dead and has no acknowledgement, but words are going to be coming out. Why was this Force-sensitive woman looking for Owen Lars? There's all that stuff. That's number 86. Why, or how is this not carried on through the years that Force-sensitive forces were looking for Owen and his home? It just, yikes. And then he gets to meet Luke, who is smiling as Ben comes up. It's like, what are you smiling for? Have you met him before? It's like,
should have met him.
He has a toy.
5 years ago.
He has a toy. So it's like, toy. Okay. Hello there.
Well, correct me if I'm mistaken, but isn't that the same blue-winged like toy thing that Luke was fiddling around with?
That is the Skyhopper, yeah, the
Okay.
T-16.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And he eventually gets his own T-16 so he could bullseye Womp-Rats, or Womp-Rats.
Womp-Rats, yeah.
And they're no bigger than 2 meters. But anyway, he's then making his way out into the desert. And lo and behold, the worst offense to canon, the Force Ghost of Qui-Gon Jinn. Now, I'm old enough to remember the lost episodes of the Clone Wars, which are still considered canon. And also the end of Episode 3, where Qui-Gon, his speaking through the Force, admits to Yoda, "Can you show yourself?" "No, I cannot. My training was incomplete, but there may come a time where you can." How is he a Force Ghost? I mean, don't get me wrong, I love seeing Liam Neeson again as Qui-Gon Jinn. Qui-Gon Jinn is one of my favorite characters in Episode 1 and whatnot, because he's basically the ones that teach Yoda and Obi-Wan to become Force Ghosts. And subsequently, everyone else, apparently, because, well, everybody else is a Force Ghost in Disney canon. And yet, it's like, yeah. So, he's like, what took you so long? I've always been here. You just weren't ready to see. What? Like, seriously, what? This completely flies in the face of everything that we saw in the Clone Wars show with the lost episodes, where Yoda is learning from Qui-Gon. And then we get roll credits. Now, folks, again, I want Star Wars to be good.
Same here.
This isn't good Star Wars. This is terrible storytelling, terrible writing, contradictions everywhere. This show should not be called Obi-Wan Kenobi. It should be called Obi-Wan Contradiction.
Yeah.
Jake Kenobi.
Obi, wish you didn't make this show.
So, Kate, out of 10, first, out of 10, how would you rate this last episode? And then, out of 10, how would you rate the series?
I'm going to do subjective and objective again. This particular episode, subjectively, I would say like a 1. FedEx Android.
FedEx that droid, yes! Or the galactic version of it.
Objectively speaking, yeah, 4. Over the course of the whole season, I would say, subjectively speaking, a 1, maybe a 2. There were moments. And objectively speaking, for the whole series, a 5. And you get to be a Force Ghost. And you get to...
Yeah.
Everybody gets to be a Force Ghost. That's a great comment.
Yeah.
1 out of 10. Yeah. Subjectively, 1 out of 10 for sure on the series as a whole. It did not need to be made.
It didn't.
And if you were gonna make a show about Kenobi, in these lost years between episode 3 and 4, you could have done a character study and not this.
I know. Pablo Hidalgo needs to be fired.
Yes, yeah. Fire a bunch of people.
I agree.
But yeah, that's my take.
Aaron, out of 10, how would you rate this episode, and then how would you rate the series as a whole?
Well, I kind of did like the fight. At moments, there were moments I did, and there were moments I didn't, because I was really worried that they were both going to be killed off. But I'd probably rate the episode probably maybe a 3. The series, probably a 1.
All right.
Out of the whole. Yeah.
Now, for me, folks, I do the 3 tiers. Objective, subjective, and showgoer. Objectively speaking, 86 now issues. 86 issues with this show so far. I will most likely have more before next week's stream. 86 objective quality issues of story, writing, and whatnot, and lore breaking and lore violations, all of it. With this episode, it had like 18 or 17 or 18 problems, objectively. You had bad writing. You just had like glow stick smacking lightsabers. The screen was so freaking dark, it's like, if I had dimming vision, I wouldn't be able to see this episode.
Mm-hmm.
There was just so much wrong with it. The writing, the logic, anything or all of it was just bad. Objectively, this show or this specific episode was about a 4. There is a lot wrong here. Subjectively, I would put it at about a 3. The only exciting part about this entire episode was the fight, and that was it.
Yeah.
And even that doesn't make sense because it's a violation of lore and Disney, or even Disney and OT canon. Now, showgoer, where I'm not breaking it down, I would put this at about an A9. Entertainment value, this is a high scored episode. The show was great from an entertainment standpoint. Now, the series, objectively, the entire series, I would grade it an F, meaning it's beyond an F- because it's literally at about a 3 out of 10. There are 86 plus issues with this entire series. I have a fucking list, and I'm checking it more than twice. Subjectively, I would put it at around a 2 out of 10. I am not a fan of how they have totally disrespected the original trilogy. And the prequel trilogy, for that matter.
Yeah.
There's so much wrong with this. Why didn't they de-age Anakin Skywalker in those flashbacks?
Right? They did it for freaking Luke in Every other freaking, like in The Mandalorian and in Boba, you can do it well now. You can do it well now.
Yeah, they have technology.
A fucking YouTuber. A YouTuber did a better job at this, and he's just a common YouTuber.
Yeah, something else that's insane. I remember seeing when they did when they did Rogue One, and they had like a CGI done of Peter Cushing as Grand Moff Tarkin.
Yeah.
I seen a YouTuber do a deep fake of Peter Cushing as Tarkin, and that actually looked better than the original, than Rogue One. And I'm like, dude.
Yeah, they do those all the time.
They half-assed it. They did not make Tarkin.
Actually, I thought
Peter
that Rogue
Cushing.
One was pretty damn decent for the most part, but if there's an improvement, I'll take it.
Honestly, I would have taken Rogue One, Tarkin, and Princess Leia CGI over no CGI in
Princess Leia was good.
Yeah.
Princess Leia CGI was fantastic, but there's a little. I think there's a few flaws with Peter Cushing's Tarkin, but other than that, it was pretty good. Definitely have to say, very good on Carrie. Very good.
For showgoer of the entire series, this is without breaking it down. This is for entertainment value, and I'm taking other people's, or those who like it, like Danny from Comic Chat and whatnot. This show is about an 8 to a 9 in showgoer, because I'm taking into consideration other people's opinions. Now, yes, there's problems. Yes, this show is terrible by my own opinion and by objective standard, which is looking at the facts. Mm-hmm. However, it's enjoyable. It has some entertainment value.
It does.
Now, what they should have done, or what they should do at Lucasfilm, is just stop making Star Wars, because they suck at it. And I know that I'm going to earn the wrath of one blonde YouTuber who likes to take shots at people with a different opinion when I say that just because I don't like something, maybe I shouldn't watch it. Well, to that specific YouTuber, I have a message for you from Bronson.
Yes.
Shut your fucking mouth! Shut the fuck up, you cunt! Shut it!
Because the thing is, folks, I'm so sick of people telling me, well, just don't watch it if you don't like it. I want to like it. I do. I want to fucking like it. But when they take something that is so loved, that I have loved for 35 fucking years, and say, fuck you, you're not important anymore, we're going to do what we want, it tends to piss people off. And I'm sick of that shit.
Yeah, you end up alienating your fan base.
Beyond alienating, you are just completely exiling your fan base at this point. And I am so sick and tired of that shit. Now you can have and there are other YouTubers that are going after people like Star Wars Theory. I don't agree with going after somebody simply because they like something that you don't.
Yeah.
If you want, now, a lot of people are saying Star Wars Theory is a shill. Look, he wants Star Wars to be good too. Now, if he finds enjoyment, that is fine. At least he's also taking an objective look at it. At least he is saying that certain things don't make sense. But unfortunately, he did say in this last one, I'm just got to find a way to adapt to it. If you truly care about this shit, Theory, now I'm not saying that you can't like it. If you truly care about this, then you would also fight for it. Like me, I'm fighting for Star Wars by saying that this shit isn't Star Wars. Because it isn't. No matter how much they try to paint it as Star Wars, no matter how much they try to tell you to consume, shut up, and like it, I'm not going to if it is wrong. I want to like Disney stuff, but they have yet to give me something to like.
Yeah. I don't think they ever will. They never will.
Honestly, folks, I've given up on them because I am sick and tired of their shit.
Same here.
After this show, I'm not watching any more Star Wars or perceived Star Wars from them.
Yeah.
I won't review it. I won't touch it. Because they have, well, as Darth Vader said, you failed me for the last time.
Nice line.
We will
Yeah.
continue to use that too if we have to.
You
Use
failed
our-
me for the
use
last
our
time.
force
If I
to
could
help.
reach out through the Force and somehow convince Chapek or Iger or whoever the fuck is in charge at Disney to fire Kathleen Kennedy, to
I'd
fire
fire them.
Pablo Hidalgo,
Be like,
to fire Deborah Chow, to fire all the people involved in this show, I would. I wouldn't force choke anybody because that would be assault.
well, that is
But the
true.
fucking I'm not going to break the law and I don't want to fucking kill anybody. It's just
Yeah.
wrong.
Right.
But I'm also going to, but I would make sure that there is accountability for this kind of behavior. This is gross incompetence. People get fired for this kind of shit
Yeah.
in other media.
I'm sorry, my dog.
It's okay. So anyway, folks, that is there's nothing else to say on this. Thank you so much to everybody. Mrs. Flew, Jedi Padawan Trailer, Soul Assassin, Gary Banjo, Sandwich, Worthington, Netcat Media, who else? Sorry, I dropped the comments. Norris and Vincent Keith, thank you. Jace Fox, but yeah, I already said Butt Crack Media. Tim's Talk, OG Star Wars, or Comic Chat. Thank you for stopping in, dude. Like I said, if you like it, that is awesome, dude. I'm not going to take that away from you. And so many other people. Thank you so much. And also thank you again to those who have come into the 1,000 sub celebration that I did earlier for 6 hours. Had this fucker on for 6 hours. Was sweating my ass off on that. But thank you so much to everybody who has come across and whatnot, and who has supported me through this channel. For next week, I will be doing the mystery review on Tuesday. But from tomorrow to Sunday, I'm not going to be on YouTube. I am laying my aunt to rest this weekend, and I am going to be with family.
Oh,
So I am not going to be much on YouTube. I will be on social media, sure, but I will be Saturday. I'm completely off of social media because I am going to be with family. Anyway, folks, thank you so much to Nerd with a Cigar, Kate and Aaron, Adela Finn. Thank you for joining us on the stream. Thank you for joining me on the stream to discuss Kenobi. Next week, we'll also have the list that I have compiled, which might be more now than 86 issues. Thank you so much, folks, for joining us and for being willing to listen to all this stuff. Again, I wish Star Wars could be good again. It's not to me. It is the EU will always be my Star Wars.
Yeah.
This story will
Absolutely.
always be infinitely better than what we have in the Kenobi series.
Absolutely.
Because what happened in the
Absolutely.
Kenobi series just doesn't make sense. Anyway, folks, thank you so much for tuning in. This has been Orange Hat Reviews and guests. Have a wonderful night. And always to remember,